Good evening and welcome to another in our Navigating Life sessions. We trust that you were able to come through Hurricane Beryl relatively safely and that all is well. We want to move right into it and to alert you to the fact that the Navigating Life series have been going on for a number of years now. It is an outreach of the St. Andrew Church of Christ. St. Andrew Church of Christ meets at 77 Red Hills Road on a Sunday morning, starting at 9 o'clock with worship. And there is a Bible class immediately, several Bible classes immediately after. We can be reached also at our website at St. Andrew Church, info at St. Andrew Church of Christ.org. And just alerting you that we also stream our worship services on YouTube, simply Christians JA as well. And we have this same Zoom link that you are using to access this Navigating Life session. You can join us online. So we also have a midweek Bible class on a Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. online. All right. So today we're going to be looking at a very interesting topic, and is my partner a narcissist? And we have been very clear to say, that who is asking the question. So I don't want to tie up any more of your time, though. I'm going to ask you if you can to just bow with us as we have a word of prayer, and then we're going to turn over to Brother Andre Allen Casey, who will be our facilitator this evening. Let us pray. Almighty God, we give you thanks, Lord God, for your continued blessing. We give you thanks, Lord God, for having kept us safe through Berry. We give you thanks, Lord, that you continue to guide and protect us. We give you thanks for this outreach program, the St. Andrew Church of Christ, where we look at issues, topics that impact the lives of individuals, and we try to provide them with solutions that are based on your word. We pray now, Father, that as we go into this session, we will have an open mind. We ask that you continue to grant Brother Andre with wisdom, so that as he shares, we will be blessed by his sharing. And we just give you thanks again for all of these opportunities. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. So, Brother Andre is a counseling psychologist. And as you will see, he is an erudite gentleman. Right? So, Brother Andre, I'm going to ask you to come on board, take over, and guide us.
A pleasant good evening, one and all. Thank you so very much for this, for joining us, first and foremost. I think I have a interesting subject matter that I want to share today. There is a small possibility, I did say small, or maybe a strong possibility that we might turn this, that there might be a part two to this. Because of the dynamics that is involved. As far as the word narcissist is concerned, we frequently use that term. We throw it all over the place, literally. And of such, every little sign of somebody, even let's say even asserting themselves, we rather than commending it, we it's more disparaging than anything else. So we say that, you see, that person is narcissistic. That person is narcissistic, and so it seemed as if everybody nowadays is just have that word all over the place and throwing at each other literally, and labeling other folks. Um, to an extent, um, there may be some truth. There might be some truth to why people might have such assertions about others, as we will be discovering in a minute or two about what narcissism looks like, or better still, narcissistic personality disorder. And so it is very important for us to have a broader interpretation of this word, and see how it really applies and the context in which it must be applied, rather than we just labeling people in an ad hoc manner. Okay, so that's what we hope to achieve from today's program. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to try and share my screen just now. Here we go. And then I'm going to put it on. Please tell me that the slide screen, the slideshow is working. Can you see it in slideshow mode?
Everything is good. Everything is good.
Excellent. So, so we're saying here that as far as this subject matter is concerned, is my partner. And when I use the word partner here, the truth be told, I was leaning more from the standpoint of marriage. I was leaning more right there, and I will continue to lean there. But what I will be sharing really goes beyond the persons who are married, because your brother could be narcissistic, your sister, your mother, your father, your children. I'm just saying here, and so it really will capture a broader spectrum of folks or relationships in general. Okay, so although I was leaning a little bit towards married folks, um, I must admit that what I have to share will cover a wider cross section of relationships. So, my partner, that is the fun part of it. We hope that it would have attracted a lot of folks when they say the word partner, because we're quick to label the other person as being narcissistic more so than identifying whether or not I am the one that is possibly guilty of the same. When you look at this picture, there are some folks who might quickly pipe and say that, hey, it is the guy who is be narcissistic here, or have that tendency, so to speak, or that disposition of narcissism. But who knows? It could be the young lady also, where in her mind she's like, listen, you can't talk to me. I really am not to have an interest in what you have to say to me. And so, we who knows? And herein lies a part of the dynamics, because we oftentimes love to look at the other person and label them and identify what is wrong with them, rather than sometimes look at ourselves and see if my disposition, if my thinking, if my operating, if my interpretation of who you are is actually skewed. Is it that I'm concentrating more on you than I'm concentrating on myself, to see if chances are I am the one that is having a problem. But to give a working definition of the word narcissistic, or NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, it is a personality disorder characterized by grandiosity, grandiose, exaggeration, bigger than you seem to be, larger than you are, or you think you are. you know, a sense of entitlement and importance, and also an excessive need for external validation. And so everything that you do, the way you dress, the way you walk, the way you talk, I mean, everything about your operating must gain the attention, and not only the attention, but the approval. And so, by no stretch of the imagination should someone even accuse you and say you're enough, or you're too this, or you're too that. No. If anything, you must get the praise from folks in general. Now, that's just the working definition, but we have more in speaking about this. We have a lot more that we want to cover here. But let me give you what is a description of someone that possibly could possess narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD. Narcissistic personality disorder is characterized by self-centeredness. It's all about you. It's little to do about the other person and even how the other person feels. It's all about you. And so it is important that you recognize this about this person that may possess these traits, or even these symptoms, to say that they are narcissistic. Okay, it's all about them. Now, what I'm presenting here, folks, it's important for us to catch this, that I'm going to ask you, it's going to be a hard one, but I'm going to ask you not to leave here labeling anyone. That's right. So even although I have description of narcissistic person right here, I'm going to ask you not to label anyone. And here's why. Because when we're ready to look at the symptoms, a proper diagnosis of a person who has narcissistic personality disorder, they would need to capture at least 5 of those symptoms in any one setting or sitting. At least 5 of them. And we're going to look at them, but we don't reach this as yet. At least 5 of those things. So we can't just look at one thing and then start to label a person and say, hey, you have narcissistic personality disorder. It's very important for us to understand that. And that's why we have to resist the risk of labeling people and naming people, so to speak. But what we do know, that one of those things that we can, if we're going to tick the boxes, so to speak, is to understand that this person, is all about them, their latest amorous conquest, if I can use that term. They're egotistical almost. Not only that, people with this disorder seek attention and praise. And so that's why you have to be careful what you say to them and how you say it to them. Okay. So if they dress or a particular way, it's all about the attention. It's all about you hyping them up and letting them feel good and complimenting them. Say, boy, what are your colors look goody, right? And boy, I like your mix. Boy, you match out, boy. Boy, your suit pretty like Christmas tree, whatever it is, right? But all I'm just saying here, it is the fact that, hey, that whatever they're doing, what they want or what they prefer to hear from you is praise. But not only that, they exaggerate their achievements, expecting others to recognize them as being superior. So sometimes when they're going to talk about themselves, better understand that they're going to, speak about, what they have done and what they have achieved, and what they are doing, and the support that they're lending. And had it not been for them, this would not have occurred. And so, believe you me, the world is going to know what they are doing. Literally, they are no way bashful to let folks know about what they're doing. Mark you, I must admit that this description, and I don't reach there, and I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but this description speaks to the what's the word I'm looking for? The overt narcissistic personality disorder. What am I saying here? There are different types of narcissism. And what the description that I'm giving here is the extreme type, which is the overt. You have the covert and you have the overt. This, and there are others too, but this description speaks more now to the extreme type, which is the overt. Okay? So they exaggerate their achievements, expecting others to recognize them as being superior. And so they are the best of this and say, hey, you're good at that, eh? Oh, you're excellent at that, you know. Yeah, man, if you're going to use terms, man, you know, if you say they're good, you say good. I mean, I'm the best, not just good. I'm not just good, I'm the best. Or if there's somebody that measures up to them, they're going to find fault with that person because they have to come out on top. They have to come out on top. Not only that, they tend to be choosy about picking friends. That's right. Since they believe that not just anyone is worthy of being their friend or even a spouse. Yeah. So in their mind, and I'm going to possibly reach there too, but you marry up, then marry down. You know, thank you, lucky stars, that they chose you. You know, you should feel good that you know that they settle for you actually. And this is why whenever they're saying anything to you, it is important that you give them your undivided attention. Because remember, they are doing you a favor more than anything else. They are doing you a favor more than anything else. So they tend to be very choosy. So in their mind, um, hey, but who are you to come and talk to me? Who are you to come and give me advice? Who are you to reprimand me? Who are you? You're nobody. You're nobody. So because you're nobody, I'm not even going to take any advice from you. So the whole body language, you know, says I'm disinterested in hearing what you have to say. Even if you're the boss, doesn't matter. And so I'm just going to wait until I can leave your presence to do what I want to do. Or in my mind, it's time for me to leave this job because you're feisty. Can't come talk to me, so. Out of order. You know who I am? Who am I? And I'm telling you, folks, that's a part, sorry to say I'm telling you, but that's a part of the mindset and the thinking process. Just say, okay. And that's why it can be difficult to have any kind of relationship with these folks because of what they're thinking. So you have to understand that in their minds, um, they have to control their outcome about the kind of life that they want. And so they can't really trust you. They can't trust you. And I don't know. I'm just postulating here. Chances are that throughout their own childhood years and stages of their lives, they had to fend for themselves. They had to grow up too early, or they were treated as a favorite child. And so they felt entitled. And as a result of this, that entitlement continued. Worse, if they were able to accomplish different things in their own lives and living, they're able to accomplish certain things, you know. Jesus, nobody can't talk to them. You know, who are you? I am, you know, they're going to have to announce the title, especially if that title is a prestigious one. Just saying. Okay. It's not, I'm not just Andre. I am PhD Andre. I can move on. But they tend to be choosy and very and picky friends. So not everybody they think they're going to associate themselves with. Matter of fact, they can be quite disparaging. They said, oh, okay, you're nobody, you're Mr. Nobody. You come from country, you're nobody. You can't walk in my shoes. You're not into my class. That's the kind of thinking and mindset that they have. And so if they talk to you, it means that you are somebody of substance, if they even choose to speak to you, but not better than them now, because they were the one who chose you. They have some kind of respect for you, some kind of respect for you. Narcissists also tend to make good first impressions, yet have difficulty maintaining long-lasting relationships. And again, here we go. Because they come across as being so, well, when I reach there, it all depends on the type of narcissism. Because you have a narcissist that the covert, for example, the covert narcissist, you see, is not very loud with their behavior. And so they may even appear to be kind and all those things, or they mask the who they really are. They really wear a mask, and you're here thinking, "Hey, this person is so nice." When everything they're doing falls right back on them. Everything that they're doing is really about their own gratification. So they will use you to build themselves up, literally. So you might even feel like feel supported when in truth and in fact, at the core, it is everything has to come back to them. So so if they help you, it is important that you have to tell the world who helped you. It is important, and so and even or they might even choose to tell the world that they were the ones that caused you to win the presidency. Okay. Also, they are generally uninterested in the feeling of others and may take advantage of them. So you might find that they can be very stiff and hard. And so you could have cry from no till, whatever, just saying, and show all of those emotions to say that you're seeking support. For the narcissist, they're like, look here, I'm not really interested in how you feel. And I'm not afraid of your crocodile tears. And that's how it can be quite demeaning to the person who's pouring out their heart now, because it's crocodile tears to them. So they don't really have an interest, because if you're trying to get me to bend, to think about you, or to treat you a particular way, it's not going to work. Okay, it's not going to work. So, not really interested. All of these things that I've just shared again speaks more so to the overt type of narcissism and not so much the covert type of narcissism. Soon give you a chance to ask questions on that. Are there different types? Oh, there we go. So we were talking about the different types. So overt narcissism, or the grandiose narcissist, basically speaks to this person displays the traditional narcissistic traits and tendencies, including grandiosity, entitlement, and behaving in a what? Boastful manner. Bigger and better than everybody else. When them walk, matter of fact, people can say, well, that person full of themselves, and chances are they are correct because of how they are, not only how they present themselves, but also how they present themselves to the neglect of others. So it's not so in other words, they alone must get the limelight. They don't plan to share it with anybody else, literally. You know. I'm about to say something again, get myself in problem with this, I mean, and because what we don't, we say we're not going to label anybody, but maybe we can look at some behavior. So we're not labeling people now, but we're just looking at behaviors, some behaviors. And we're going to look at some of those behaviors in a minute or two. And then we can even get some feedback from those who are on just now, about what these behaviors, not labeling anybody, but we're just talking about the behavior. Okay. So you have the overt, then you have the covert, and the covert narcissist can be harder to detect. But how so? Because they may appear what? Shy and humble and reserved and even insecure to other people. I don't know if I'll get there, but I feel like I need to say this. You do have male and female manifestation of narcissism. The manifestation of narcissism can be different in male versus female. It can be, okay? It can be different. But there are some studies that shows that the female would possess more covert narcissism than the male. The male would be more overt and the female would be more covert. Okay, just to put that out there. I'm not certain if I have it in my information, but let's see. Let us continue. But I just wanted you to be aware of that. Then you have communal narcissist. And this is someone who appears selfless and generous with their time, with their money. Oh, this can also be applicable to the female. So both the covert and the communal type of narcissism can speak volume of the female over the male. Okay, can speak volume of the female over the male. So again, appears to be selfless, generous in their time, their money, and resources. When, in other words, all of this that they're doing, really and truly, is for their attention. So if they weren't going to get anything out of it, then they can bet your bottom dollar they're not doing it. So they are doing all of this. It's almost like a ploy, right? There's a passage in the Bible that says, let love continue without dissimulation. In other words, you have to love without hypocrisy. Or even the 1 Corinthians 13, I said, do I give my body to be burned and I don't have love? In other words, sometimes we can just go through the motion of doing something good, but really and truly, our motives are skewed. They are impure, literally. But when you look at the action, it really look like the person has your best interest, so to speak. When in truth and in fact, all that they're doing is, it's to continue to get the praise of men. So why he's a good man, he's a good woman, he's a good father, he's a good mother. And why? And they say, because you do this, because you do that. And they will continue to do it. Why? Because they need to hear that I'm a good father, I'm a good mother, I'm a good husband, I'm a good wife. All I'm just saying here, what is driving the reason why they're doing it is the praise. They get those praise. But understand that really and truly, if they did not get the praise, would they still be driven to do it? Because they recognize it's a part of their responsibility as a parent or as a father or as a husband or a wife or whatever. All I'm just saying, or a mother. Would they still be inclined to do so? So they are likely to be very active in charities and other good causes, but use oftentimes these rules to what? To promote themselves. To promote themselves. Of course, form a favorable impression where people have good things to say about them and create a reputation of being a good person. It's a good man there, It's a good woman there, And they will continue to do it. But, behind closed doors, they're also, you can't believe it's the same person don't like you. Can you imagine you're singing, you're singing praise about somebody and you don't know that they're stabbing you in your back, so to speak. And the reason why, because we don't like you. But they don't mind putting on a front because it makes them look good. It really makes them look good. As a matter of fact, if the roles were ever reversed, understand that they don't have nothing good to say about you. They can be very sparse in relation to their compliments. So if you are complimenting and singing their praises, and then the one time you ask them to, pat you on the shoulder, so to speak, they can be say, well, I understand, I hear what you're saying, and the person is okay, they're okay, and so to kind of minimize even your own effectiveness, minimize the things that you have done. They minimize it because it's not about them now, but you are the one that is elevating them. But they're not going to elevate you, they're going to minimize it. But they can't throw you under the bus necessarily because they need you to continue to elevate them. Look at that. Remember, we're not blaming anybody here, folks. We're just looking at the different types of narcissism that exists. So we have overt, we have covert, we have communal, And we also have the malignant narcissist. Now, this one is dangerous, very, very dangerous. And let me explain to you why. Because the malignant narcissist not only possess the overt traits of narcissistic personality disorder, but they also have what? Antisocial personality disorder. Now, let me remind you about antisocial personality disorder. Remember, antisocial people that have antisocial personality disorder do have no conscience. They steal, they lie, they do not have any conscience. They think other folks are weak and to be taken advantage of. Understand? That's the mindset of the antisocial personality disorder. That's very, very dangerous. So you're overt, plus you also have antisocial personality disorder. You will hurt people and you don't care. Doesn't matter, it don't faze you. And so sometimes, can you imagine you're going through a warm time with a partner and you're begging them for mercy and asking them to have no conscience and no feelings, and you're pouring out to them and just trying to see if you can get some kind of compassion from them. And nothing is, you can't shake them one way or the other. It can feel hurtful, not true? Yeah. It really, really feel well, chances are, just say chances are, not saying definitively no, but chances are this person might have this type of NPD, the malignant type of NPD. That person might just have that. And so we are saying it is good for us to be aware of these things, folks. Even as we forge relationships with each other, we need to be aware. Okay. Because the more you are aware, is the better you're able to decide how much of you must give or not give, for that matter. How much of you need to protect. Because gaslighting, they own the gas station. I'm gonna be alone laughing for that. Anyways, yes, man, they possibly invented the term, so to speak. Okay. So we are saying that they are considered dangerous because they display a lack of empathy and a pattern on preying on others. Very, very dangerous. After the malignant, you have the healthy one. Yeah, that's right, folks. You never know that you have narcissism and healthy narcissism can go together, right? Yeah. When I was doing my research, because this is not my information, I've just researched and shared it, right? I'm just sharing all of this research. But I'm just saying, when I came across it too, I too was a little bit, wow, Marty, this information was some time back now. Just sharing it with on this platform. But notwithstanding, the first time I came across it, I was knocked out of my socks. In understanding what narcissism speaks to, and then they're going to have healthy. Well, it's just some research. Some researchers kind of depict that there is a type of narcissism that can be interpreted as healthy narcissism. I said can be, not definitively no, but can be, right? So here's what they say. That there's a healthy narcissist subtype that describes people with high self-esteem along with other NPD traits that do not interfere or cause problem in their lives or relationships. So that's why it is healthy in quotation. Now watch this. It does not mean that the mindset, it is the behavior that makes it seem healthy. But the mindset is one and the same. The mindset doesn't change. It is the behavior. So in other words, I will behave a particular way. I'll continue to behave a particular way because it serves my best interests. And that's why you still fall under the category of being a narcissist. But in terms of those who receive the behavior from you, in their minds, you must be a good person. hence which goes back to being communal. So you must be a good person. And so really and truly, one can see how communal could possibly be misinterpreted as you being a healthy narcissist, so to speak, because you remember you appear to be submissive and caring and thoughtful and all those things. But at the core, it's really about you. It's really about you. So these are the different types, the most common types, I should state, of narcissistic personality disorders. Now, look at what the symptoms now could look like. Or maybe before, well, let me run through the symptoms before I look at your either the comments or questions. Just give me a second here. Now, the symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder speaks to number one, having an unreasonably high sense of self-importance and require what? Constant excessive admiration. High sense of self-importance. And that's why I am not just good, I'm the best. That's how you're going to describe me. You know, you have some countries, maybe nations, they only play among themselves and they call themselves world champions. Dali, let me leave it alone, right? Just saying, but there's a high sense of I'm better than everybody else. You know, I am better than everybody else, and you're not. You if you don't look a particular way, if you don't behave a particular way, if you don't have certain things, then we're very classist, and you just can't speak to us. And who are you? You're beneath us. I don't talk to anybody for that matter. That's why you can't just take on any job and do menial tasks. Are you crazy? No, that's beneath me. Even if I don't have the qualification. Can you imagine you go to the doctor and you're telling the doctor what he must do? He's the patient. And you're telling the doctor, hey, you need to do this, and you need to do that, and I don't want this, and I don't want that. Okay, well, maybe you should have worked by yourself. I don't know. Bad example. Bad example. I admit, bad example. But high sense of self-importance and fire constant excessive admiration. Feel that you deserve privileges and special treatment. Yeah, so when you don't join line, no. Do you know who I am? And that's why I cannot drive anything to drive something where people will turn them and look at me. Yeah, humble, what name so? No. And that's why when I speak louder than everybody else. And we are going to have to be seen, have to be heard. Have to be. Okay, laugh louder than everybody else and everything to say. But I know say, Andre's in town. Andre's in the building. Oh, golly. Yeah. Feel like you deserve special privileges. Join line? No, man. Not join line. Like other people go do that for you. You're going to go into your car and you have to carry it to the depot. No time for that. Have more important things to do. Yeah, and so you rationalize why you're not going to do certain things because that is not important. Let the people who are beneath me do those things. Yeah. People who are beneath me must do those things. Expect to be recognized as superior even without achievements. Even without achievements. Telling people, your opinion that they don't even ask you about. You ever come across people like that? They always have an opinion about what must be done and how it must be done. Seriously. And they have never walked in your shoes. Never. But them quick to say, you need to, you need to, you need to. And sometimes, they can use words like, I think and I believe, and appear as if to say, they're not trying to force their opinion on you. But really and truly, make you don't do it. Them lock you off. Forget you. Because you did not observe what I shared with you. I told you to do this thing. And you didn't? No, sir. Done with you. Some, the overt will definitely say I'm done with you. The communal now will say, I really think you should. I really think you should, and so on and so on. And they might even have a nice, calm, collective voice, but really trying to urge and coerce you in doing it this way. And if you don't understand, so they are angry, but they can't show it. They can't behave as if they say they are out of control, but they're really angry. And that's why if anybody ever asks them their opinion, they say, I have nothing to do with you. I have nothing to do with them. That person who can hear must feel. No, sir. Me don't never say another word to them. Now, I hope I'm using terms and words that possibly frighten us as to whether or not we find ourselves using these things and cut off people, especially if they are not doing the things that is satisfying to us. Cut them off. We're done with them. I hope we start to see in some real ways how we might be guilty of some of these things. I'm not saying, I'm not giving a diagnosis here. I'm saying here, at minimum, that some of these traits, whether or not we are guilty of possessing some of these traits, not a diagnosis. We're not here to give a diagnosis. We're not here to label anyone, but we're saying, am I? So why we're talking about is my partner? Well, let's look at myself first. I might be the partner that is guilty of these things. Who knows? But I expect to be recognized as superior, even without achievements. Make achievements and talents seem bigger than they are. I got in this, As a matter of fact, sometimes when you talk about your achievements, you could have swear that you're the only one take the exam. You could have swear you're the only one take the exam. Yeah, man, the way you talk about this thing, I say, hey, listen, the exam hard enough. No, but listen, do you know the percentage of people that pass this exam? The exam hard enough? You can stay there. Well, and if you really go check out the percentage, it says a high percentage. It's really a high percentage, not a small amount of folks. It's really a high percentage pass. But the way you talk, man, could I say is only the creme de la creme that's able to succeed in being successful in passing this exam. They are preoccupied with fantasies about success, power, brilliance, beauty, or the perfect mate. So when they talk about things, it's like they're dreamers. Yes, man, you see, one day now. Again, don't watch me, man. One day I'm going to listen. I get my own plane. They can't even make the paper plane properly. But when them talk, again, I have my own plane. Yeah, man. I got my own plane. Now watch, man. Watch me, man. Just watch me, man. Okay. I'm not saying chances are they don't push to get it for two, by the way. I'm not saying that, But sometimes they don't even can't make the paper plane, much less to say them going to own one. The real thing, the real deal. Or if they see other people that have some of these things, they say, wow, that's all they talk about. And when somebody meet and talk to you, they say, wow, I love you, VP. And it's everything. They only recognize the physical, the material things that you have. They don't recognize the character. Nah. It's just what you have. Hey, I love in your shoes, I love how you have, Yeah, joke. It's a bit about you have. And of course, the carry to different levels if they had what you have. You think better only stop this stuff? I waste time, man. If me they ever did in your shoes, I have what you have. What? Yeah. Somebody said, I hope you're using bad examples. Yeah, I might agree with you. So just pay attention to the statements and not so much to the examples that I'm sharing, because they might not be quite applicable. At least for some, it might be. For others, maybe not so. Notwithstanding, preoccupied with fantasies about success, power, brilliance, beauty. That's why, listen, to spend time in the mirror, to look better. One pimple, no, son, I'm get rid of this. Can't go to work, so. Can't go to work, so at all. You're crazy, no, bro. No, man, me no look good, man. Jesus and peace out. Hmm? Yeah, man. End of the world for you. Because you don't look your best. You need to look good. Hmm? This no match. No, 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 no. Mr. We the same thing go work every day. So, no, sir. Hmm. No, sir. We not take a job here. Come here, wear uniform. I'm gonna be common like everybody else. Crazy? Not at all. Not my job this. Or if I'm going, or my uniform have to look, I look stylish and look different. I that shorter, I tighter, or something. I'm if I wear something with it. Make certain my chain a show. I don't know. There's something have to be different. Yeah. Believe that they are superior to others and can only spend time with or be understood by equally special people. So, me talk to you because you have sense. Yeah. This is say you have sense and you can understand me. This is say you understand me. You know why they feel like you understand them? Because you always praise them and make them feel good about themselves. So, yeah. This is say you have sense. You know why you have sense? Because of how you talk about me. But make you start to talk against me, you know, in a sense, man. Yeah, you know, all of a sudden, you know, in a sense, because you're pushing against my opinion or pushing against me. So now you don't have no sense. But once you agree with me, two thumbs up to you. You're special. Manifestation of the NPD symptoms. Manifestation of these symptoms. Be critical of and look down on people that they feel are not important. They expect special favors and expect other people to do what they want without questioning them. And after I give this list, I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to look at some information that we have in the chat there. Take advantage of others to get what they want. Have an inability or unwillingness to recognize the needs and feelings of others. Be envious of others and believe others envy them. Behave in an arrogant way, brag a lot, and come across as being conceited. And insist on having the best of everything, for instance, the best car, best house, best office, best everything. Now, before I move on to my next slide, let me look at what I have in the chat here and give you a chance now to ask me a couple of questions before I continue. Oh, this person's saying that they've been in a relationship like that, only to find out after a while that that person, or rather who that person was, or that, right. Okay. How often are persons who have dealt with narcissists likely to display some of their traits? Great question. It all depends on which one, which type. The overt will definitely do have any inhibitions about doing so. Malignant, definitely, because remember I said they don't have no conscience. They really don't care. So it all depends on the type of narcissism that we're talking about. So because now the covert and the communal most definitely will be a little bit more reserved in how they manifest it, or the ways in which they manifest it. You might think that they are being very supportive, but in truth and in fact, that behavior is only to continue to support them and to boost their ego. So I don't know, hope that answered your question. The floor is kind of openish, although for you to ask me some more questions. I do have some more things that I want to share. But do we have any more questions? Let me see here. Can persons who have a relationship with persons who are diagnosed with NPD start to display similar traits to develop NPD? Yes, actually, yes. Yes. But quite often, the other person, quite often. So the answer is yes. However, it is what happens more customarily is the fact that you feel like the doormat. The treatment that you're getting, remember, you're going to be gaslighted. They're going to remind you of who you are, and who you are to them. That's why I leave up the manifestation of the symptoms here, because it is important that that at least 5 of these symptoms have to be at play, at least 5 of them. Although I think I have some more, but at least 5 of these symptoms will need to be at play. So, so here it is, though, that for there to be a diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder, notwithstanding, if you feel like you're being put down and you're being gaslighted, there are times in which you might develop what is called existential guilt because of the treatment that you get. In other words, you start to feel like something is wrong with you, and not only feel that way, you believe that something is wrong with you because your significant other has been saying these things consistently about you. So something must be wrong with you. And you believe what they say. Something is wrong with you. Worse, if it sounds like a trigger to something that your parents may have been, or other loved ones have been saying about you in a critical way about you, that is. And now you come back and hear something very similar again. As far as you're concerned, then something definitely is wrong with me. But in truth and in fact, this person is only being treated in that way because of their issue, not recognizing that maybe you had low self-esteem coming up. Okay. So don't know if that answered your question. I hope it did. Yes, NBA teams. I know an individual that is both overt and communal narcissist. Is it common that they have multiple types combined? Oh yes, I mean, so in other words, just say the truth is. Remember now, that the communal rather is appears to be this way. It doesn't mean that the true colors is not going to shine, but they have to behave that way so as to get the attention, so as to get the support, so as to get the praise. You're a good person. Look at how you're so supportive. You're always in this, and you're always everywhere I turn. Your hand is us into everything. How you manage, how you do it. They like to hear those things. Like to hear those things. As a matter of fact, if they do all these things, and that's why employee of the month and employee of the year understand that they must get it. If they don't get it, then you're going to hear them voice. Then you're going to hear their voices. So chances are it was more communal than overt. Whereas the overt personal, you're going to hear them voice from the get-go. So then they're not going to appear to be nice. Nope. They're just, look here, this is who I am, and that's why those folks, that's why a lot of folks can say, listen, that one day straight narcissistic. We can possibly say something like that sometimes, and not recognize that the communal is doing the same thing, but the method that they are utilizing or using to get the praise and to continue to feel good and to continue to get what they want out of you and out of the relationship is really reverse psychology, literally. So somebody says I shouldn't associate psychology with that, and you're probably right. Okay, let me look at some more here. Going down with some of the questions. Would a lack of empathy and compassion be characteristic of narcissists as well? Definitely, definitely. Remember, it's not only, it is in conjunction with other things too. But yes, these two things are traits that that narcissist would possess. What causes one to be attracted to the narcissist? Wow. Hello, look at we game finished. Look at we game a part two. Great question though. Wow. Remember now, that let's say the community. You know what? You know what I can do? I would love, based upon what I've shared, I love somebody to come on right now and answer that question. Why do you think that a person could be attracted to a narcissist? And is it any narcissist or a particular one? Somebody come on. We can get it from two different persons. Please, mic up and answer that question. What causes one to be attracted? I remember it's just your opinion. That's fine. That's your opinion that you're sharing. But I hope you will share, especially based upon what we would have shared or learned thus far.
Because they portray themselves to be nice people, kind people at times.
Excellent, excellent. Anybody else? I see another answer in the chat here, which I agree with too. Attracted to empaths. Anything else? Anybody else? In answering the question?
Good evening, everyone. I think sometimes persons will attract what is already in them. So it could very well be that the narcissist in you want what you are seeing outside. And it could become like a power struggle. That's just my opinion on it.
There we go. There we go. I mean, the truth is that there's so many there are many different dynamics that in relation to what that could be. I'm looking for another answer to. I can give you the first word, and you can give me the second word. Low
self-esteem.
Low self-esteem. Low self-esteem.
What I was thinking is that these persons usually reach in places of power and so on, and people are attracted to power sometimes. So because they are usually in charge, they are usually managers and this and that. So persons who are maybe having low self-esteem or looking for that person to be in charge may be attracted to that personality.
Excellent, excellent. Or remember that they appear to be successful because they're motivated, their mouth, the behavior, the disposition, right? And so people like that. They appear to be, some might genuinely are successful, and others just appear to be successful, and people like that.
A lovely smile, Niall. Okay. You have a lovely.
Okay, do we have any more comments on that question? I think that was an awesome question. Here's another question. Is it possible for them to hurt you during a relationship if you're not into their behavior? Oh, definitely. I wasn't certain what you mean by not into their behavior. Yeah, okay, but I think I get it. So yes, but definitely hold on to you, strong to, especially the overt one. Remember, or the malignant. Those two understand that they are going to just say, listen, remember, you have to understand, for the narcissist, they marry down, you marry up. They have settled with you, for you. They are doing you a favor. And so you cannot come across as to be telling me what I must do and how I must do things. I give you the instructions. It is your responsibility to follow. You don't object. I beg your pardon. So that's a part of the dynamics that is involved here. So yes, they can become also aggressive, very, very aggressive. Not to mention very abusive, both physical, psychological, emotional, all aspects of abuse, verbal, you name it, all aspects of abuse. Understand that you can make yourself very subject to these things. Is it nature or nurture? I think it is nurturing. I think it is nurturing. I think it is nurturing. It is, by and large, because even if you think a particular way, if you're taught how to behave, if you're taught how to love people, there's a passage in the Bible said that we must love our neighbors as ourselves. If you're taught how to love people, so you have, if you can see my hand, you have philautia that speaks to self-love, which is important. You have agape. I put it in the middle right here. This is my thingy that I'm developing or sharing here, right? You have storge that speaks to loving family. You have filio that speaks to loving mankind. You have eros that speaks to romantic love. All I'm saying here, but this love here is unconditional love. In other words, it doesn't wait until it does not have to get to decide to give. That's the agape love. Okay. And so if you know how to properly love, then no matter what kind of mindset you have, well, it will therefore change your mindset if you know how to love. Just saying. And so maybe it is our failure to know how to love, and worse, how to demonstrate it. Can a person have fruitful, successful relationship with someone who has overt narcissist? That is part 2. Sorry to burst your bubble, folks, but I'm looking at the time. That sounds like it's going to be part 2. As a matter of fact, I want to say that's going to be a part 2 because I think I want to talk also about identifying even narcissism, how to identify some aspects of narcissism in a female. That's right. Some aspects of it, really. And also, and therefore how to treat, be it the male and or the female that is narcissistic. Yes, that's what I want part 2 to look like. Somebody say, it's like it doesn't come up with it, so maybe. But seriously, that's what I think I want part 2 to look like. Great questions so far. Let me continue. We have some more questions here. Where am I? How do you protect yourself and build resilience if you believe you're living with one? Part two again. Part two again. But let me give you a hint. Let me give you a hint. Because remember, part two is going to talk about how to live with a narcissist. What can you do? But one thing I said to you, don't lose yourself. That's right. Don't. That's just one answer out of maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8. But don't. Fundamental to living with a narcissist, don't lose yourself. I can give another hint to don't make them force you to lose your relationship with other people. One of the things that narcissists is going to stress on is that they feel like you must always depend on them. You also have to display some level of self-efficacy. You have to display that I don't need to always hear from you. Your opinion of me doesn't identify who I am or who I become. So you cannot lose yourself. It's important that you believe in your ability to achieve. And don't feel like you are an extension of them. Very, very important. Okay? But let me go, but I hope I still answered, at least in part, your question. Appear to be kind, yes. They are manipulative, definitely. Narcissists must be fulfilling. Must be fulfilling a need or desire. True. They want to be associated with people seen as important. True. Like mind attract the same. True. This one is saying, can these people be helped? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, they can. Part two. But most definitely. A matter of fact, just teaching people how to love. You know, folks, it is amazing how most of us, that's right, most of us are very selfish. Do you know what are the two greatest commands given? Anybody can mic up and tell me the two greatest commands given? Anybody?
Love the Lord thy God and love thy neighbor as thyself.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Two greatest commands. Now, who else can tell me who must do it? Who's to do that? Anybody? Well, that's an easy one, I know.
We are supposed to do it.
Thank you very much. So God has given all of us the two greatest commands. That was the question I was asking. What are the two greatest commands? And the first one is to love God. The same word in answering that question is something that you must do. You must do it to the higher being and to other people. You know, think about it as I call it an upside down T. So you're right in the center there, and your first objective, number one, the arrow goes up, God at the top here. And then right at the bottom of the T that goes across this way is your relationship with other people, number two. But it's you are the central figure, executing the same command to both God and man. That's your responsibility. And if everybody recognizes their role and their responsibility in both loving God and loving mankind, wow. The Bible said, treat others what? Better than yourself. Where is narcissism in that? Let love continue without dissimulation. In other words, you must not love with hypocrisy. And so we say, where's narcissism in that? So the truth is the answer to overcoming narcissism is love. Do I give my body to be burned, and do I do this and I don't have love? See, you can always go through the motions of doing things. But where's your heart? Teach. If we can learn, if we can teach people to have empathy and compassion and sympathy, all of those wonderful traits where they can get in touch with their feelings about how they treat other folks and how people are impacted by what they say and what they do. If we can get people get back in having those kind of relationships, oh gosh, man, then people genuinely look out for each other in a real way. Right now, people just every tub sit down by its own bottom, every man for himself. We have lost love. We have really lost the ability to love, and where people must feel it. That's why people are so guarded in their relationships with each other. And that's why it's so hard for them to trust and to become vulnerable, because they can't afford to get hurt again and again and again. And they are the ones who always have to be giving off themselves to still get the same bad treatment. So as a question, somebody asked a question earlier. So sometimes people just say, all right then, since the bad not sorry for me not sorry for nobody. And so we have allowed a person's bad behavior to dictate our responses. Okay. I might have to stop right here. More than likely, let me just see if I can just answer some more questions here. Sometimes they are first to get upset about something true. Answer a question already. How does the wife differentiate between the man being the Godhead of the family versus the narcissistic husband? Boy. No, that's a hard question. It's a great question, if I understand it. See, well, again, let's tell you what comes to my mind. And I hope that I'll be able to answer the question. Or I'll give you the answer that you're looking for then. See, if you want somebody to, there's a word that I think the word is echoing and mirroring, those two words. Echoing speaks to the idea that it's like you're paraphrasing something to somebody, because then you're saying to the person, I am being attentive to what I'm hearing you say to me. Mirroring now is where you're prepared to behave in such a way where you're teaching the other person what is the appropriate response. Okay, so the question is to say, so even if the other person who is supposed to be leading the family, for example, there's a passage in Peter that says the husband must respect the wife, and treat her and with understanding. Respect and understanding are the two traits that he needs to have in how he treats his wife. Respect and understanding, according to some translations. I think it's in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7, I think. I don't remember now. Right? But suppose he fails to do so. You know that earlier in that same chapter, verse 1 and verse 2, I think, it invited the wife to still be an example, even if this person did not obey the word. Still be an example. And so my point is to say, how do you educate him about what the right thing look like if you're going to behave like him? How do you get him to mirror your behavior? Or do you want him to mirror a behavior that resembles the very thing you don't like? Don't want that. So I'm saying here, it is important that although, let's say, the husband is, fall under the ambit of being narcissistic in his behavior and traits. Question is, what can you do to educate him about what an appropriate behavior must look like? What can you do? Is just a question that you can ask yourself without losing yourself, without losing your dignity, without losing your dignity, without allowing him to create boundaries that put you into a place where you cannot function. You know, what can you do? Because you see, just because somebody treat you like a dog, it don't mean so we have to start back. Just saying. I don't know. So I hope I kind of answered that question. And our time is almost upon us. I think I have maybe 5 minutes to go. So let me in spite of all that is said, we have to be very careful how we label individuals. That is correct. Sometimes they don't want to be helped because they think the other person is the problem. That is correct. And so we're not, remember, that was the first thing the first thank you that we put out there. We said we're not here to what? To label anyone. But it does not mean that the traits is not real. Let's not behave as if to say Judas wasn't a thief. And say, oh, I'm labeling him, I'm judging him. Nope. He was a thief. Okay. Peter denied Christ. Okay. So let us, I'm saying here, we're also not going to, you know, camouflage or cover up, because a lot of folks stay and remain in abusive relationships. A lot of folks find themselves, and it is replicated in the children, because the children come and believe that this is no normal when it is not normal. So we need to have the conversation. But we'll talk more on that where part 2 is concerned. Okay, so with that, let me see something. Okay, then the last question, this is the last question, and that says, what if someone's boss is a narcissist? Let me answer it this way. Life is like a knife. And in life, we either hold on to the handle or the blade. The sooner you recognize where you're on the knife, the better you're able to navigate your life. In other words, if you're holding on to the blade, so we'll pick up right here in our part 2, the traits, the personality traits. Do they differ in male and female? That's a good place for us to end, a good place for us to pick up. But trust me, should be exciting next month, all being well, if God should give us life. I really want to invite you to make an effort to come back next month, all being well. But life is like a knife. And to the last question, I say, if you hold on to the handle, if you hold on to the blade, because if the boss, then the boss holds the handle, and you hold on to the blade, then be careful about what you do. If you're not prepared, be careful about your reaction. That's all I'm saying, because if you put up too much resistance, you are in a vulnerable position, which means that you might get caught. So that's all I'm saying. So you need to find out and figure out if one, you can afford to get cut, or no, or two, can you make an adjustment to what is happening to you because there's something bigger at stake for you to accomplish? Can you? But these are the questions that you'd have to ask yourself and figure out whether or not you're prepared to make those sacrifices, yes or no. Yes. With that being said, thank you so very much. We had a good showing earlier today, and we still have a good number of folks who have remained. Thank you so very much for coming out, literally. I not only appreciate it, but the St. Andrew Church of Christ, you know, love that you're here, and Brother Smith will take over from here.
Well, couldn't ask for more. And I imagine that we might have to extend our arrangement with Zoom the next session. All right, so just to remind you, our Navigating Life series takes place on a last Saturday in each month at 6:30 using the very same Zoom link. We meet at 77 Red Hills Road. We want to invite you to participate in our worship service starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. And we also have our Bible class on Tuesdays. You can use this very same Zoom link to worship online if you're not able to come on premises. And we start at 9, as we said. So here it is, the Zoom link, and the password 77123. So thank you, Brother Andre. Next month, sorry, we will be here again and we continue. And I appreciate how interactive the session was. People were prepared to ask questions, and clearly there are a lot of questions to be answered. So I don't know how long we're going to go on, but we're not constrained for time. We can actually deal with issues. We also should mention that we, on the last Saturday in the month, using the same Zoom link at 6:30, we have a grief therapy. Grief therapy, so people who have losses, we are providing free counseling to you on the last Saturday in the month. And so thank you, and may God bless you. And as we said at the very beginning, we are not here to label anybody. And although we want to look at the traits, there are a lot of warnings that are given at the beginning and also towards the end about, you know, picking up a little piece. There's a joke about Jamaica, how we are, you know, it's like we like to jump to conclusions. That's why we, you know, and run things. So then that's part of why we do so well in athletics. But the key here, seriously, is that sometimes we take a little piece of something and we run to it and start to paste labels all over people and so on. So we just have to be careful. All right. Brother Andre, thank you very much. This was extremely good. All right. All right, I'm gonna pull down the tent. Oh, by the way, the Nav Life series are actually being stored, saved on YouTube. Simply Christians with JA, Simply Christians with the SJA. So you should be able to get this. The grief therapy are not stored because we want privacy, but the Nav Life should be available on YouTube. Thank you and good night. See you tomorrow.